Okay, great. Now that we are able to see a list of our members and we're able to register a member, I think the next step should be being able to drill down into the information of that specific member in order to see all activities of that member, which will be super helpful when we get to a later stage of our tutorial when we add payments for the specific member. So we'll be able to see all the payments made by that member, the activities of that member, and so forth. So to do that, we can start by navigating back to configurations and down into forms. Let me just collapse that again, and we're going to be creating a new form with the module of membership, a table, a template of details view, because we want details of a specific member. Details view, a name of member details, a label of member details, again with the naming convention, and a description of this details view is used to view the details of a member. Of a member. Great. So we can go ahead and also select a model type of person because we want to query from the person table, and then click on OK to create the form and be redirected to the form designer mode. And as you can see, when we get here, we have a basic layout for a details view preceded with a title component, a button group, a collapsible of all the details, and down here we can have any other detail we would like to be displayed. But we will do that later on in the tutorial. But for now, we just want to display the basic information that is displayed on the table view. So we can go ahead and just delete this name field because it's not relevant to what we want to do at this moment. We can go ahead and open the data panel, or you have an option of searching the components that you want here and giving it a name, a property name, and so forth. But this way is easier and more convenient for me. So I'm just going to go ahead and drag and drop the first name component onto the collapsible panel. That looks great. Drag the last name component, and lastly I'm going to drag the mobile number component, which all of these values are displaying on the table. So we can go ahead now and change this label again to cell phone number because it was named cell phone number in both of the forms that we configured previously. So I'm just going to continue with the same naming. We can then go ahead and enter into the settings and select a get URL because you want to get information from the database. So I'm going to select a get URL of person. Can't find it. So let me just continue with my searching, person/get, there it is. So I'm just going to select that endpoint and click on OK. And again, to give this details view a little bit more character, we can then navigate to our title component and give it the content of, let me just clear that and give the content of membership 4. And then this framework uses mustache templating engine, which means that you can enter dynamic values not just through the property name job bar that you have available, but you can also use the mustache templating engine, which entails using 2 curly brackets, 2 for opening and 2 for closing, and entering in your property name, which will dynamically be swapped out upon rendering. So let me just enter the first full name because I want the title component to look like membership 4, and if I'm in the details view for John Doe, it will read membership for John Doe, as you will see later on when this is rendered. So if we're happy with how our details view looks, we can go to our preview to see how it would look. And for now, this is the dynamic value is empty because it's not receiving anything at this moment because it's not rendered, but it will be swapped out for the member's full name once it is rendered. So once we're happy with how that looks, we can go ahead and save and set ready and publish. And we're publishing because it's still on the first version, so technically this form doesn't exist as yet. So we have to publish at least one version for it to be registered and accessible basically throughout the whole system to the end users. So we can go ahead now and publish this form to live. Great, now that this form has been created and published to live, we should now create a navigation point to actually get to those details view, because it's supposed to query specific information for a specific member that's on the row that you are querying. So to be able to do that, we can navigate back to our members details view, just because I wanted to show you another way in which you can enter your form designer mode. So you can do that by clicking on the versioning toggle and toggling show form information. And what this does is that it gives you information based on your form, the form that is currently being rendered. It gives you the module of that form and the name of the form, as well as the versioning information. So as I had explained earlier, this form is on version 2 because we did create a new version when we were adding the create member button, and it is on draft because we did not publish it. However, if I go back to live, as you see, the version currently being rendered now is the version 1, and which is on live. Great, let me just go back to latest, and if you see here on the left side of this version information, there is a tiny icon which, when you click on it, will redirect you to the specific form that is being rendered. It will redirect you to the form designer mode, which is super convenient because you don't have to navigate down to configurations and then forms and then search the form should you have tons of forms that you had configured. So this is pretty convenient. I'm just going to go ahead and click on that and be redirected to the form designer mode. Great, now once on the form designer mode, I do not have to create a new version because my form is still on draft and has not been published yet, but I still can make changes. So I'm just going to go ahead and navigate to the data table because I want to add a navigation point for the members details view. So I'm going to go ahead and navigate to the data table component and go customize the columns. So I'm going to add a column, and because I want it to be first and not at the end, just so to improve readability and user experience, I'm going to drag it all the way up to the top. And because I want this column to be able to navigate to the specific user's details view, I'm going to select a type of action instead of data, because I don't want data to be displayed. I want this column to actually do something, right? So I'm not going to give it a caption. I'm just going to leave that empty and give it an icon of search outline, just to show that you can click on it, and then give it an action name of navigate, because I want it to navigate to a details view. And the target URL will take the format of dynamic, because the details view also is a configured form, and all configured forms are shown using the dynamic tag. Membership, because it is the module that we registered the form under, and then member details, because we wanted to go to the member details view, and then we want to query that specific member details view by the ID. So we're going to go ahead and select ID is opposed to open double curly brackets, mustache templating, right selected row, because we want to query that selected row dot ID. So cool, once we are satisfied with how everything looks, we can go ahead and click on save to see our now updated table. As you can see, now our table has search icons for each user listed in the tables view. So you can go ahead now and save that and go see it in action. So you can now, after saving the form, you can now navigate back to our members table view, and because we are still on drafts, the changes are instantly applied, and upon clicking on this search icon, we should be navigated to John Doe's details. Great, and as you can see, we're navigated to the member details view, which is on version 1 and is set to live. We are on the membership details for John Doe. As you can see, the dynamic values did swap out the full name and change that out for real values. First name of John, last name of Doe, and cell phone number of that